The 1776 Monte Carlo is back. It's worse for wear, however, and needs a little bit of help from us. The small block 400 finally got a little bit tired on us, but it did it in spectacular fashion. I'll tell you about that here in just a minute. So I need something cheap that's on hand to throw in this as far as the power plant goes. I got just the thing. The LS1 I just tore out of my 1998 Corvette. It should be fun, reliable, and have plenty of pep. Also going to change the transmission and revisit a few other things on this build that a guy kind of just, glossed over. Should be a lot of fun. However, I've got just a few days to pull this off because some friends are going to take this on sick week. Great. Can we wait any more last minute? No, this is it. Tell you what, guys have been burning the midnight oil around this place, but have you noticed what you're not seeing anymore is piles of all these energy drinks and caffeinated whatevers. That's because I'm going to AG1 for my energy, and I'm getting it now without that annoying crash in the afternoon. If you're not familiar with AG1, you'd be hard-pressed to find a more comprehensive powder or supplement on the market. One scoop of this stuff here is packed with 75 essential vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients, and they find the best ingredients possible. In addition to energy, AG1 can also support mental clarity, alertness, and I have to tell you, I'm definitely feeling more focused around the shop. I'm getting so much done around here just by myself. Now you can get all of this with just one scoop of powder. Personally, I like their travel packs right here. Actually, I gotta re-up, I'm getting low. 8 to 12 ounces of water. Throw this in here and mix it up, throw it down to the app. It's as easy as that. Personally, I said goodbye to I don't know how many different bottles of vitamins and stuff on my counter. Now I just swig this down in the morning and I'm good to go. Oh yeah. Now obviously a guy is traveling a lot, and when I'm not on the road, I'm here in the shop working however many, just a lot of hours, right? And thanks to AG1, I know that I'm getting comprehensive nutrition to support my busy lifestyle. And for your ladies out there, it's great for you too. Promotes healthy skin, healthy nails, promotes hair and nail growth as well. If you want to try AG1, go to athleticgreens.com/vice grip and grab you some. Hey, let's get back to this Monte Carlo. Thanks to Athletic Greens for sponsoring today's video. There's questions. I get it. Let's address the tiger in the room. Maybe two of you have said, wait a minute, LS isn't vintage stock car. I don't know what you sound like, I'm just guessing. But listen, dare I say, either is a small block 400 with a roots blower. I don't remember that in stock cars, right? So we kind of already broke the mold anyway. So why not just put something that's turnkey, reliable, plenty of pep in here? See, the thing is, I don't really drive this car. My friends do a lot, and my family. So I just want them to be able to jump in, twist the key, and go, and I don't have to be like, oh, you got to pump it 4 times, and flip the switch, and hit the toggle button, and be sure to change the jets if you go to Colorado, and watch the AFR gauge if you dip down by sea level. None of that stuff. I just want it to be ready, on the go, at all times. The LS1 we're going to put in here, I know for a fact runs good. It's a tire fryer, had no issues with it whatsoever, other than a couple. I think the cam sensor or the crank sensor. One of the doodads that shoots electricity that does something with timing wasn't really working correctly, but we'll address that. The other one is, okay, what happened with the 400? Well, I was in turn 3 wide open, 5,800 RPM, and it just quit on me. It hasn't ran since. Didn't throw a rod, didn't make any windows, it still rotates. It is just absolutely tired. This is a bone stock 400. I threw this blower on it, and then we did burnout after burnout after burnout after quarter mile after quarter mile after quarter mile. Took it on sick week, drag and drive, and at the end of that, we threw a bunch of nitrous at it. And then roadworthy rescues came out, and we went to a dirt track, and basically, I don't know how many laps I did, but I guarantee you they were all wide open, full boost, and it finally just got tired on me. So we're gonna pull this out, we're gonna revisit it and reuse this engine on a different project, but for now I just need to get it out and out of the way. It's gonna probably be faster to just throw this LS1 in and be done with it. While we're at it, we're gonna go ahead and replace the transmission. I also have something I wanna put this Turbo 400 in, might be a pickup truck sitting around here that we're gonna get to later this spring, early summerish. Okay. Let's dig in. We got to start taking off all the accoutrements, the accessories, all of that stuff. You guys have been here with me a million times. Engine pull time. Strip her down, get her out. Oh, my son Bradley's here to help. Yes. So unfortunately, sitting out by the tree rows there, we had a bunch of, I don't know if you guys can see that, a bunch of rats in here just doing their thing. So Bradley's gonna jump in here, get all of that cleaned up first. I think my plan is to try to get this blower off completely, and I'll go find an old cast iron intake and bolt that in. We'll pull from that rather than risk marring this up. Then he's gonna jump in, take the air cleaner, all the lightning hoses off, and then I'll start digging into some other stuff. Probably gotta drain the ice cube juice. Might even pull the rad out. Not sure I can even use this same rad. Do all that stuff, some of the wiring things. So, you ready, buddy? Jump on in. Good morning. Bradley and I finally shut her down late last night, but man, we got a lot done. Pretty much the top side is complete. We've got all of the wiring out, the radiator, the hoses, the ignition, the fuel, the blowers off. Got the manifolds cracked off the thing. They're still hanging in there. Then we lifted her up, finished off the exhaust, snipped that out of the way, and started on the drive shaft. So today, I'm gonna climb back under the car. We gotta get the drive shaft out, the transmission cross member, speedometer cable, all those small doodabs, and get her back on the ground, see if we can get this tired 400 small block out. We'll start fitting in this LS1. Now the LS1 needs some work too. Still got to strip this thing down, prep it, clean it, probably going to rebuild it, and by that I mean not sure where the receipts are going to end up, though, you know, maybe the glove box. No, probably my mom's house. But anyway, there's a lot of work to be had, but I'm just trying to get this out as quickly as possible so a guy can start racking his brain around all the potential issues we might have here. Great. So this thing had a significant oil leak, I guess a lot worse than I thought it did. Valve cover maybe, also rear mainish looking. I wiped a bunch of it off, but boy, it was starting to throw a lot of oil back here. Did snip the pipes off here. We're gonna have to weld in whatever kind of, I think I'm gonna use some Holley manifolds, and it has different downpipes. Gonna keep the O2 provision. We'll just reuse that. Look at the underside here. Hopefully this rear end hangs in there. Shouldn't have any issues though. Still got the rear sway bar on her. Fuel tank, we're gonna have to address that. Might be able to use a retrofit kit on this, but we may end up putting a fuel cell in it. Not quite sure just yet. Gonna have to finish taking the straps off here. I got the bolts on the top. Might have to get the rear end up on our teeth so I can rotate the tires, get those down so I can get that off. Once we pop the drive shaft out, guy can get in and knock these bolts out, both sides, and then we'll probably take the nut off, try to rotate this out of the way, and then take the transmission pad off as well. I like to have these loose but in here, so when we start yanking on this thing up front, we can try to swing the whole thing out of the way. Probably gonna move to a floor shifter finally. Something I wanted to do, but we just ran out of time. So all this garbly gook can get out of the way. As you can see, these are just hanging. Undo the motor mount bolts from down here. I'll probably go ahead and drop the starter as well. just so that's not banging on the motor mount coming out. These always like to hit right here when you're pulling them out. Otherwise, we got 58,000 miles of room up here on these A-bodies, you know. This thing has been just put through the ringer. Look at that fluid. It don't smell like burnt hair and coyote legs. It smells like fresh additive. That's good news. We'll probably do a budget rebuild on this, throw some bands in it, something, maybe a shift kit or something like that in the future. Again, this whole drivetrain I'm just gonna set to the side for a project in the future. Gonna let this finish draining. I think I'm gonna go ahead and drain the oil. I don't know how long this is gonna sit. And cross member bolts are out. So all I gotta do is just get the tail shaft nut off there, come up here, work on the starter and the motor mount bolts. And we're getting pretty close to pulling on this thing. A few sparklies, but not bad at all. That's pretty remarkable. That gunk in there, that's dirt from pulling the bolts out, but there's the sparkles. Definitely a nice rebuilder. It was still shifting, it was just getting a little lazy. See what we got in the Earls here. Ooh, heavy gas. And that's, you know, what you call rings not gapped, blowing the boosts. Yeah, she's just, you know, maybe re-ring it, maybe put a different cam in this thing, roll the bearings. We'll bring her back around. Probably got to go through the heads too. Imagine the valves are, yep. So this is kind of neat, doing some automobile archaeology. If you remember and go way back to when I first picked up this Monte Carlo, I suspected that it had original low miles. I can't remember, it was 60-some thousand, I think. Well, here's another indication that proves it's correct. We know this is a numbers matching engine. First of all, it had the support bracket on it, which no one, I repeat, no one installs, especially if the starter's been replaced, because it's a pain in the butt, because this rod goes all the way through the starter, and then that gets tightened, then the bracket goes on, then the nut goes on. This is the original starter, and it's got all the cloth wiring and shielding and everything still on it. It's just another way to prove that this is an original low mileage Monte Carlo. I'm gonna pop that all the way. Boy, we had some valve covers just dumping oil. We'll have to keep that in mind. Wonder what Martina McBride's doing. Lives down the road, you know. Guy's snagging these exhaust manifolds out right now. And then, speaking of manifolds, I think I'm gonna put an intake manifold back on this engine. It's a little bit of a challenge taking these engines out of Monte Carlos. Here's why. Exhibit A, subsection 2, knee breaker. See this point? Looks like a bird beak doing 200. Very reminiscent of the BOPCs, the 70s, you know, Buick, Oldsmobile, Pontiac, Chevrolet, respectively. All of them had this, I'm serious, think about it. Camaros, yep. Chevelles, sure. Monte Carlo, yep. Same frame. Well, the problem is when you slide in your cherry pickers, they don't got the angle to dangle, right? So you can't just, quiet down. I'm trying to do something over here. You can't just run a chain across this betwixt the heads. It gets all sideways and kittywampus. You got to try to pluck them right from the center to get them out of here. So I'm gonna go find an old intake or something out of Rusty Acres, hopefully, and just loosely mount that in there. The other thing we're gonna do, we gotta drop this bumper. Guess it's raining outside. That's neat. Ah, get some. Oh, yeah. Take a diamond reel out the rest of the acres and see if we can get a manifold. Boy, she's getting loose. Might have to do some maintenance on this thing. It's been a while. Don't know if I'm gonna make it up this hill. Come on. Oh, don't bog. Don't bog. Oh no. Yes, I think we're doing it. This poor truck. Oh. Water saver. Water saver's not really saving much water. But I saw this. Oh, yeah, what's in here? Oh, nothing. Ooh, we got gaskets. Spaculator. What is this? Limited edition or something? I don't know. I was hoping the old intake was... Oh, it is. Yes. Boy, that saves us a ton of time. Oh, boy, that's heavy. Oh, smog era. That's why. This will work though. That's all we need, just so we can get a plate on here. You know what I mean? Yeah. Watch the jump box. Hip. Get this on here quick. Boy, it's like reaching in 58 feet. Oh, Creedence Clearwater. It's like 80 pounds. Can't reach nothing. No gaskets or anything. We're just kind of using it as part of our pulling systems. You know what I mean? Okay, good. Maybe just 2, 3 bolts, possibly 4. Not sure yet. One down here, maybe one back here. Corporate blue. Chevrolet did change from orange, you know, and then they ended up in the black eventually. When they went to the Terminator broccoli injection, that's when the colors really kind of started changing to the black there. Well, how come nothing is doing the thing? Actually, it looks pretty funny without seeing this thing with a blower on. It's been a long time since we originally picked it up. Now I just got to bolt on that thing, and then got to lift it back up, get this bumper off. We're going to start finally tugging on that. See if she pops right out. Nope, gonna be a nightmare. Awesome. Sneaking up on the boys. Hear them shifting. Oh, they found me. They're playing in the car. I used to do the same exact thing when I was a kid up in the junkyard on the farm. Well, it's tit for tat, or 6 1/2 dozen, or 2 borrowed horses, however we do this. Either bolts here or bolts here. I guess nuts, technically. I think I'm going to go here because there's some missing for some reason. You can also see how it was bent up. I tapped the wall. Went out right after the water truck and snagged up a corner there. So I'm going to take out, what do we got? 3 there. 2 over here. See if I can chest press and ruin my back and get the bumper to the ground myself. Well, I think I did get all the nuts off the back. You're going to find out in a minute. Tell you that much. Got a Properlizer 400 in here. We'll ease that back. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can move my back surgery up a couple months and just heave this off. Come on now. It should only weigh a couple 100 pounds. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, yep. Mm-hmm. That's really heavy. Oh, yeah. How do you balance it? Just snagged up. Okay. I got it. She was snagged. That was easy. Well, here we is again. Let's see how bad this thing wants to fight us. See, I'm maxed out there. Actually, I wonder if a guy could a guy roll the car forward or more? He can, but then I'm hitting tools or something. What I'm saying is I could get a tickle more out of her. Yeah, we're in the paint. Okay. Best way to pull an engine is late at night by yourself. You know, in case something happens, you're alone. All right, we're being greedy. We're going all the way back. See what happens. We're either going to start lifting or we're going to start bending. I went in the back hook because if we're successful on liftoff, we're going to have the weight of the transmission. Boy, what in the world? I got both the... I gotta get a pry bar. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's okay. Be free. There we go. Well, now what's it not happy about? For Pete's sake. Injury 13 and 14, respectively. I've never seen such a thing. Okay, they are going back down hard. See? I got PS juice leaking. I got, what is this leaking back here now? I got ice cube juice leaking. From where? I got, what else kind of juice? 314 pounds of cat litter on the ground today. Now is going to come to battle to the Royale. Don't need digicals. None of these digicals. Don't need them. Delete. Digital delete. Deleting the digicals. What is this? The kickdown goes straight into the transgression? No. Can't be. Huh. A guy did not remember that the kickdown cable just goes directly from the go forward, go backward shift machine right into the throttle pedal. Then the throttle pedal cable shoots out independently. Don't throw these at glass. Bad things happen. Yeah! Okay, attempt 37. What is that switch? I don't know, come off the back of the head. Okay, I think everything's loose. It's swinging, as John Anderson would say. Let's give her a little forwarder. Why not? Sure, yeah. Bending stuff, keep going. More forwardage. Getting close. I'm gonna run out of hoist here in a second. Gonna have to get the fork truck. Nope, can't, doesn't go forward. Great. Oh, more forwarder. This is normally where I just grab the transmission and lift it up and around myself. I ain't got any help to lift the hoist. Okay. Easy, faster, easy. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make her home tonight. Well, here's where a guy went ahead and bees at now. Got her out. Preparation for that guy to go in. Look at this. Boy, that was really hiding out in here. Tell you what. I'm gonna keep this pelletized and put it over with the other engines. Now, a smart guy and the right thing to do would be roll this outside, pressure wash everything, paint everything up, doll it, put some lipstick on it. So I'm not going to do any of that and just pretend we did, because race car, right? We ain't got the time. All this is fine. We're going to just have to figure it out as it comes, or as the old fellers say, drink from a fire hose. I think where we got to turn our attention, we got to get this guy ready to even do the thing. It's still bolted into a subframe to the Corvettes, and it's got a tubby torque on it still. Some of you probably didn't realize that the transmission was in the rear of the rigs. Yeah, that's how they did the thing. My boys have been sitting here playing race car. So we got to figure out how to separate these guys. All this garbly gook needs to come off. There's a lot of work that needs to go into this, is what I'm saying. So let's just crack the knuckles and dig in. Help. Send help. Does anybody know what we're looking at here? What? I don't know. Okay, so I think this alien looking cinnamon roll thing has to come off, because we got to get a pull plate in here to get the cherry picker on it so we can separate these two. So I think step one, what is the... It's got more pipes than Willie Nelson. I don't understand nothing right now. Okay, so let's work towards, here's another one. Why? Let's work towards getting this intake off. And then, yes. Sure. Well, this is the piles of I don't knows. And hey, I found a small block under all that. So that's pretty neat. Got the ignition off. Got the sushi roll intake off, which we're going to reuse, by the way, a majority of this. I'm trying to do this pretty well as cheap as possible, with the exception of a couple things just for looks that you'll see in the future. Got the pull plate on, went ahead and dropped the AC compressor off. We're not using that where we're going, because it's a race car. I got to get a vice grip on that stud, get that out of there. Got the bell housing bolts out with the exception of one. And you can see we got a hairline fracture in here. So I think what I'm going to do now is get a Jackulator 200 under here. You know, and then cherry picker on the front. See if we can separate these two. What was that? Oh, bolts. And then, did you see these painted lug nuts, by the way? Trick. Horsepower. Then we're going to try to lift it out of this front subframe thing, which I have all those bolts out of there already. So, technically, once the weight is off, it should just plop right out in theory. Nope. Gonna have to get the torch. No idea what's happening. Wingage 500. I don't know. Equal and opposite pressure. Try to get them at the same altitudes. say, oh, what in the devil? Running over my sparkle packs. Snug. There we go. Oh, maybe this is going to be a lot easier than I thought. Except my cherry pickers done clogged up in the whatever this tubey thing is. Can this go backwards? Come on now. Yeah. Oh, I know what I need. Pry bar. Fixes everything. I don't know what kind of science is in here, or something's supposed to be unhooked. Nope. Just a standard clutch right there. Oh, yeah, I got the Yeller Spring Super Hawk. No, I have no idea what that is. Yes! Much is discoed now. That's good. Oh, wait, we can keep going, can't we? Yeah. Forgot that was the plan. Okay, how do I get... Now I'm in a pickle. Maybe we just bring this like 13 feet in the air. Right? And then gotta have a pry bar. Probably could hook a chain on something too, maybe. That might help. There we go. I got more wires. What is this hose now? This, okay. You can't tell me there wasn't an early retirement age at the GM factory. Everything's fine. Okay. We're going back up again. Got some wires, but just keep pulling and then they'll shred out of there, see? Yeah. Beeping back. Oh, my sparkle packs. There we go. Beep, 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 boo. What a mess. Now what? Front seat? Sure. Actually, quite a bit of work feller's got to do to this. Not only just on cleanup, but we got to switch her over to an automagical. Nozzle, replace the rear main seal. Got to get rid of this batwing oil pan. Put a muscle car oil pan on her. Clean up all the hose laders on the front. Figure out what we're going to do for accessorize. I don't know. That's why I'm bringing it up. Okay. Also, this had a bad... I don't know if it was this guy or this guy. Maybe both. Pretty sure it was the crank sensor. It was bad. Sometimes you turn it, it'd fire. You'd have to keep going back and forth to get the time. The timing was wrong in the computers. And sometimes it'd fire. I'm pretty sure it's that guy. Got to do that stuff. But the hard part is out or done, or where it's there. Is what I'm saying. Out with the small block 400. In with the. Yep. Yep. Everything's fine. You know, it'll work itself out eventually. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Now, make sure you stay tuned. There's a lot of work, obviously, left to do. We're going to start by cleaning up this LS. We're going to rebuild it, replace some parts, switch it over to automagical, get it hooked onto a new transmission, which I think you're going to like the flavor, get everything prepped and back into the Monte Carlo. And then, of course, we've got all the wiring and accoutrements and accessories and exhaust and cooling. And we still got to put a shifter in. And the list is long, is what I'm saying. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it very much. We'll see you very, very soon.